I'm a little overwhelmed with all of the milestones or anniversaries of all the music that's in my collection. Yesterday, I had a lot going on. I was super busy and I missed celebrating the release of this album, which came out on August 31st, 1984. This is Dreamtime by The Cult. I just want to make mention of that really quick. But this video is mainly about this band right here. This is just a quick video for me to mention the fact that 13 Songs was released on this date in 1990. So technically, the first version of this, which had like their 7 songs on it, this was released in November of 1988. And this was about the time that I came to find out about Fugazi. I believe it was early 1989. We had this friend named Julie, and when her parents would go out of town, she would just have a bunch of people over at her house. This was the 80s, right? So this is like I said, either late 1988 or early 1989. We're over there hanging out and we're listening to what I believe was the Trick or Treat soundtrack, if I recall, yeah. So, which was more metal stuff. My friend Danny was like, man, I'm tired of listening to this stuff. I want to let you hear something. There's this band and you really need to hear about them. And it was Fugazi. He says, you got to check this out, man. This is Ian MacKaye for Minor Threat. Got to listen to this band. You're going to love it, especially like the bass playing and everything and the drumming. It's awesome. So he plays that first tape for me. A quick side note about Danny. This bass came from Danny. This is my first bass ever. I got it from him. First bass I ever played was a Fender Precision bass. It was not mine. I picked it up during a rehearsal and started playing it, and I decided that I needed a bass. For a while, for a couple years, this was my main bass. This was all I played. And then of course, I would later go on to get the Padula, and the rest is history from there. So anyway, we listened to it and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I didn't rush out and buy the first Fugazi tape right away. But later on, easily a year and a half to almost 2 years later, I was hanging out with some friends, and a friend of this friend had a bunch of cassette tapes, and he was getting rid of them. He's like, I don't even want these tapes. And everybody was looking through the tapes. In that tape case, it was a bunch of cassettes. It was like a Case Logic case. And he's like, man, I don't care about this stuff. You can have it. And I said, let me see those. And there was only 2 tapes in there that I wanted. And it was these 2 right here. So Margin Walker, which combined with the first 7-song EP, went on to become 13 Songs, which is that poster I was showing you. So 13 Songs was released as basically 2 EPs, and it was released on September 1st, 1990. So 35 years ago. Anyway, I listened to this religiously, and as well as this one. I kept listening to them over and over and over and over. These 2 definitely made me a fan. I believe the first time I saw them was towards the end of this tour, or either at the beginning of the tour of Steady Diet of Nothing. I don't know if I'm gonna go run into the basement and dig out my Fugazi CDs, but I have all their stuff on CD and it's all on my hard drive. But I will show you the ticket stubs. Hang on a second. Now, I know that I saw them before this date. I know for a fact that I saw them on the Steady Diet of Nothing tour, for sure. But there's only 3 ticket stubs that I have. So here is one of those tickets right here. And I believe this is the time that Shudder to Think opened up for them. So they would always bring another Discord band with them, and I'm almost certain that Shudder to Think was on this tour in 1993 with them. I think the last couple of times that I saw them, they came 2 nights back to back. It was in March of 1996. So here are those 2 dates. I saw them back to back. They were awesome. And I just feel like I saw them one more time after this. So I probably saw Fugazi at least 4 or 5 times, and they were awesome every single time I saw them, like really. And especially on this one here, I remember that they tried to make it a point, because I remember everyone's like complaining about Tool playing 2 nights and they played some of the same songs and people were having a meltdown. I don't understand fans like that, because there's going to be those fans that can only afford to go one night and they want to hear those songs. I don't know why people were getting so upset about that. But anyway, that's for another time and another discussion. But either way, with Fugazi, they definitely played different songs on these nights. They did play a few common songs, but I just remember the second night they started the set off with Styrofoam, which was awesome. That set was just they just came out blazing with that song. Anyway, my other thoughts about this band, it may look like I'm a bit biased, but it seems like a lot of my favorite bands are always carried by a very strong rhythm section. I mean, this band is definitely an example of that. I mean, Joe Lally and Brendan Canty are just unreal. Like, seriously, they are great, super tight rhythm section. Some of my favorite bass lines, I love Promises a lot. I love Margin Walker. I mean, of course, Everybody Likes Waiting Room. That's a fun song. I'm just trying to think of songs that are on that first 13 songs instead of going and talking about the other stuff. We can do that another time. But either way, just wanted to make mention of that today. It's just another milestone. 35 years ago, they put out that CD, which is basically a double EP CD. And really, it kind of changed my life. It changed the course of my musical journey. At the time, once again, I was very deep into metal, but Fugazi is definitely one of those bands that steered me in a different direction. And I am very thankful for that whole, some people want to call it indie, they want to call it punk, they want to call it emo, whatever you want to call it. That scene and a lot of the bands that came out of that era, I had the great pleasure of witnessing them live, and I had a great time at those shows, and I definitely paid attention to the musicianship as well. So this is where I ask everyone, do I have any Fugazi fans here? If so, please let me know what your favorite tracks are off of these first two EPs that became 13 songs, which would be 7 songs and Margin Walker. Let me know in the comments below. I'll have another video out to you guys soon. Happy September.